Tired of paying thousands just to keep a roof over your head? For many in the US, Canada, and the UK, retirement has become less about golden years and more about stretching pennies. But what if you could trade that constant financial stress for a life where an entire beachside apartment costs just $45,000? It sounds impossible, and that's why hardly anyone is looking at these properties. But hidden across Spain are towns and villages where homes are this affordable, life is safe, and healthcare won't empty your savings. Today, we'll count down 11 of these overlooked gems. Each one offers its own mix of culture, comfort, and peace of mind. Stay with me until number 2, because that's where you'll see why the smartest retirees aren't chasing luxury condos. They're quietly grabbing these hidden treasures before the rest of the world notices. Number 11, Almeria's Forgotten Coast. On Spain's far southeastern edge lies Almeria, a landscape unlike anywhere else in Europe. Here, rugged desert cliffs plunge into water so blue they look painted. The land is dry, almost lunar, and yet dotted with oases of palm trees and sleepy whitewashed villages. Unlike the tourist-packed resorts of the Costa del Sol, Almeria feels untouched. Tourists often drive through on their way to Granada or Malaga, never realizing what they're missing. And that's exactly why prices here remain some of the lowest in the country. Imagine a morning in Almeria. The sky glows orange at sunrise, gulls circle fishing boats, and the scent of salt mingles with wild rosemary. You step onto your balcony, sip coffee, and watch as the sea slowly shifts from silver to turquoise. For around $45,000, you could own a one-bedroom apartment just minutes from this scene. Push a little inland, and entire houses in mountain villages fall into that same price range. Daily life is equally affordable. Utilities rarely climb above $100 a month, even in summer when the air conditioning hums. A weekly trip to the market fills your basket with olives, tomatoes, fresh fish, bread still warm from the oven, and bottles of wine, all for a fraction of what you'd spend back home. 2 people can eat well for $250 a month. Eating out is not a guilty pleasure. In family cafes, a 3-course meal with wine costs $12. Compare that to a chain restaurant in Chicago or Toronto, where you could spend $40 just for 2 sandwiches and coffee. Safety is another hidden jewel here. Spain consistently ranks among the world's safest countries, and Almeria is no exception. Streets feel calm, and retirees often remark that they feel safer strolling here at night than they did in their own suburban neighborhoods. Children play late into the summer evenings. Neighbors chat in the plazas, and the only sounds after dark are laughter and footsteps echoing off stone walls. Healthcare, too, brings peace of mind. While Americans wrestle with insurance premiums north of $600, here a private plan costs around $70. Doctors are well-trained, many speak English, and hospitals are modern. The public system is also available, offering another layer of security. Consider Jim and Karen from Wisconsin. Back home, their $1,800 Social Security check barely covered rent and bills. Retirement felt impossible. In Almeria, everything shifted. They bought a modest apartment outright, cutting their biggest expense immediately. Their monthly costs are now less than half of what they were before. Jim joined a photography group, capturing sunsets over the desert hills. Karen takes Spanish lessons and shops each week at the local market. For the first time in decades, they don't worry if the money will run out. They wonder where they'll take their next road trip. That's Almeria's secret. On paper, it's about affordability, but in reality, it's about freedom. Freedom from bills that strangle your joy. Freedom from unsafe neighborhoods. Freedom to start again in a place where life is not survival, but living. Number 10, Lugo's Atlantic Hideaway. Travel north to Galicia, and you'll find Lugo, a city embraced by the Atlantic. Here, the air is damp and green, more reminiscent of Ireland than Spain. Rain nourishes rolling hills, and the scent of eucalyptus mingles with sea breeze. Ancient Roman walls still circle the city, standing guard after nearly 2,000 years. But the most surprising thing about Lugo isn't its history, it's the cost of living. Homes here remain astonishingly cheap. For around $45,000, you could buy a flat within walking distance of cobblestone plazas where locals gather each evening. Rentals are equally modest, $300 covers an apartment outside the center, and less than $400 keeps you in the heart of town. Utilities average $90 a month. A bus ticket is pocket change. Seafood, mussels, clams, hake sells at prices that would shock anyone shopping in Boston or Vancouver. A kilo of mussels might cost less than $5. Lugo is not flashy. It doesn't try to impress tourists, and that's its charm. Life is lived at a slower rhythm. Nights are quiet, except for laughter drifting from taverns. Retirees walk safely through the streets at night, something many admit they never felt comfortable doing back home. Healthcare is excellent. Hospitals are modern, doctors professional, and private insurance sits at $60 a month. Compare that to the $600 plans in the US, and the savings alone could pay for annual trips across Europe. Take Linda, a retired nurse from Chicago. She admits she hesitated at first. Moving to a rainy, little-known city sounded risky, but today she says Lugo is the Europe I dreamed of but didn't think existed. Her modest pension stretches further than she imagined. She enjoys private health care, shops at markets where vendors know her name, and travels regularly by train. For Linda, Lugo didn't just save money, it gave her back a sense of belonging. What most overlook is that Lugo offers something priceless: authenticity. You're not trapped in a tourist bubble. You're woven into a living, breathing community, where life is measured not in bills, but in moments. Número 9. Castellón de la Plena. North of Valencia lies Castellón, a city with wide boulevards, plazas filled with orange trees, and beaches that stretch endlessly into the horizon. Strangely, it rarely makes it onto travelers' lists, and that oversight has kept property prices shockingly low. For $44,000 to $47,000, you can buy an apartment within walking distance of Golden Sands. Utilities average $100. Groceries for 2 people hover at $250. Dining out remains a joy, with meals costing $10 or $12. Safety here is high. Spain's low violent crime rates apply, and Castellón itself feels calm. The streets are lively, but not chaotic, filled with families strolling after dinner. Healthcare is modern, with private insurance costing under $70. Patricia, a retired teacher from Arizona, describes Castellón as her turning point. She sold her condo in the States and bought here in cash. Now, instead of fearing property taxes or HOA fees, she wakes to church bells and spends afternoons sipping café con leche for €2. For her, retirement is no longer about watching every penny. It's about soaking in sunlight and freedom. Castellón is proof that overlooked doesn't mean unworthy. It means opportunity. Number 8. Murcia's quiet beaches. Murcia doesn't advertise itself like Marbella or Ibiza, but maybe that's its greatest strength. With more than 300 days of sunshine a year, it offers warmth without the crowds. And the prices? Almost unbelievable. A 2-bedroom near the coast can still be found for under $50,000. Utilities sit around $100. Private healthcare hovers at $60. Eating out averages $9. Life here is filled with festivals. From Easter processions to grape harvests, the streets are alive with music, dance, and color. Retirees aren't outsiders. They're welcomed into the rhythm. Mark and Susan, a Canadian couple, discovered this by chance. They thought they'd only stay a year, but once they realized their modest pension stretched further than they imagined, they stayed. Instead of $600 health insurance bills, they pay under $70. Instead of worrying about heating costs, they bask in sunshine. Mark now paints landscapes. Susan takes cooking classes. Together, they say they've never felt richer, not in money, but in time. Murcia proves that retirement isn't just about affordability, it's about joy. Number 7, Jaén's olive grove towns. Inland from the coast lies Jaén, a province blanketed with olive trees stretching as far as the eye can see. Here, medieval castles crown hills, and villages glow white against the green. Properties here fall easily under $45,000. Rentals run around $300. Utilities sit at $80. Groceries for 2 hover at $200. Life is slow and steady, marked by church bells and fiestas. Safety is remarkable. Neighbors know each other. Crime is rare. Healthcare is close by and reliable. Helen, a widow from Manchester, moved here when her pension couldn't stretch in London. She bought a stone home outright and found community she thought she'd lost. Weekly markets, local celebrations, and $60 insurance gave her not only security but joy. High End shows that peace and history can become your everyday life for less than many spend on a used car. Number 6. Teruel's mountain villages. High in Spain's mountains lies Teruel, one of its least populated provinces. Villages here seem carved from stone and time itself, and because few outsiders come, property prices remain incredibly low. For $43,000, you can own a 3-bedroom house with a terrace. Utilities stay around $90. Meals cost $10. Crime is almost non-existent. Margaret, a Canadian teacher, once paid $600 a month for insurance back home. In Teruel, she pays $70. She sketches medieval towers, shops in weekly markets, and says life here feels like her own again. Teruel isn't about glamour. It's about serenity, safety, and affordability. Number 5. Huelva's fishing villages. On Spain's Atlantic edge lies Huelva, a region where fishing boats outnumber tourists. Its authenticity is unmatched. Beachside flats list for $45,000. Fresh fish cost a few dollars per pound. Utilities hover at $100. A Boston couple bought here after realizing U.S. inflation would eat their savings. Now they buy fish from boats at dawn, watch sunsets each evening, and pay $60 for healthcare. They say they feel richer now, living simply, than when they earned 6 figures. Huelva shows that wealth isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in peace. Number 4. Extremadura's river towns. Extremadura lies far from the sea, but its rolling valleys and rivers hold towns rich in history. Homes here sell for $45,000. Groceries for 2 cost less than $200. Utilities rarely pass $80. Safety is strong, and neighbors form tight communities. Healthcare is modern, with insurance around 65. Retirees describe waking to birdsong, shopping where everyone knows their name, and taking trains to Madrid when they crave city life. Extremadura gives balance, peace without isolation. Number 3. Cadiz's secret corners. Cadiz sparkles with history and culture, yet just beyond the famous bay lie towns where apartments still sell under $50,000. Here, life is drenched in color. Blue seas, golden sands, flamenco in the streets. Groceries are $250, utilities $100, insurance under $70. A retiree from Toronto said she came for the price but stayed for the music. She calls Cadiz a retirement painted in song. Number 2. Galicia's seaside villages. Back in Galicia, seaside villages sit quiet and overlooked. Homes overlooking cliffs and waves list under $50,000. Life is simple. Rentals under $400, groceries $250, utilities $90, insurance $60. Retirees say Galicia feels raw and real. Misty cliffs, fresh seafood, evenings in taverns where locals treat you like family. For many, it's less about saving money, more about finally feeling at home. Number 1. Valencia's forgotten outskirts. Finally, Valencia's outskirts. Beyond the bustling city, orange groves stretch to the horizon, and apartments sell for $45,000. Utilities hover at $100, groceries $250, insurance $60, safety high, and with flights across Europe, connection is never a problem. Retirees call it the sweet spot: affordable, safe, connected, and alive. The perfect balance of cost and culture. So there you have it. 11 overlooked corners of Spain, where properties sell for less than the cost of a car, where life is safe, healthcare affordable, and sunsets unforgettable. These are the places nobody wants, but that could give you the retirement of your dreams. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these hidden gems surprised you most? Could you see yourself walking Lugo's Roman walls, joining Murcia's festivals, or buying fresh fish in Huelva? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And don't go yet. The next video waiting on your screen will show you even more hidden havens where retirement can finally feel like freedom.